This is college football on ESPN, presented by 5 Hour Energy.
Welcome to Orlando in the Conference USA Championship game, presented by HotelPlanner.com. Just outside of downtown Orlando, a perfect day as SMU and Central Florida do battle for a conference championship. And welcome to Jimmy V Week for Cancer Research on ESPN as we continue our commitment to the V Foundation and Jim Valvano's dream to defeat cancer. What's at stake today? Well, this crowd hopes to celebrate a title for UCF. It would be their second. This is their third conference championship game in the last 6 years. For SMU, they've never been to the title game in Conference USA. They haven't won a title of any kind in over 25 years. Bob Wischusen alongside Brian Greasy. Glad you can be with us. And Brian, these are two programs that are making an impact and two return men that can make an impact. Quincy McDuffie and Jamar Newsome both averaging over 32 yards per return.
Yeah, and McDuffie, number 14, has got 2 touchdowns on the year this year. He is third in the country returning kicks. A dangerous man. It'll be interesting to see if SMU decides to kick off to these two guys.
Marcelo Sada will send it deep, and the Conference USA Championship game is underway. It's McDuffie from just inside the 10. Close to the 27-yard line, brought down by Jagared Davis after a return of 18 yards. A huge story in Conference USA this year has been true freshman quarterback Jeff Godfrey for UCF. 67% completions, 12 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. And Brian, you watched him on tape this week. What impressed you most?
Yeah, he's very poised, very confident player. He's learning how to play the position. And Coach George O'Leary says, you know, he's a quarterback who just happens to be a great athlete, not the other way around. He wants to be a great quarterback, not an athlete.
Latavius Murray gets the start at tailback as they line up in the pistol. They'll run the option. Murray on the pitch. Picks up about 4 yards as we check our impact players.
We already talked about number 9, Jamar Newsome, in the return game, but he's also their best wide receiver. Been hot the last month of the season, 3 100-plus yard games. And in the backfield, Latavius Murray, we'll see a lot of him today. He's a big slashing type, 221 pounds. And on defense for SMU, Jagared Davis leads the team in sacks. He's got to be able to get to Godfrey, but also contain him, not let him get his legs.
Right up the middle goes Murray, close to a first down. Marcus Hunt made the stop, along with Taylor Reed. George O'Leary in his 7th year at UCF. He has a chance to have the best record this season of any college in Florida. If they win today and then win their bowl game, they could at worst end up tied with Florida State. But what a step forward for this program to have the best record in Florida.
Oh, make no mistake, it helps him in recruiting. He says he's knocking on all the same doors that Florida and Florida State and Miami are.
Third down and about a yard. On the keeper, it's Godfrey. He's got the first down. He's the second leading rusher for UCF. He averages about 44 yards per game. He's got 10 rushing touchdowns this year.
Well, and he's got 127 attempts. They like to get him involved. This is not his bread and butter, not the biggest guy, only 5'11", 176 pounds, but the surge by the offensive line for Central Florida gets them a big first down early.
First throw. Instead, he'll tuck it under and run. But he gets out on the edge. He is dangerous in the open field. Picks up 8 yards.
You see the speed of Godfrey going against a defense today from SMU that employs the 3-4 scheme, which is confusing for younger players. Be interesting today to see how well this Central Florida offense diagnoses this defense. A lot of pressure going to be coming. 70% blitz from SMU and defensive coordinator Tom Mason. Down and more
into the secondary for SMU and inside the Mustang 40-yard line. Ja Reed, the right tackle, helped pave the way. 14 yards.
UCF employing a zone running scheme on the backside. If you're able to cut off the backside against the 3-4 defense, you can get some big gainers on that. Murray certainly with good vision, it gets to the second level, but nice job by UCF up front in that offensive line.
5 plays on this drive, all 5 rushing plays. 1st and 10 inside the 40-yard line. Godfrey's first throw dropped. It would have only been about a 4-yard connection. Quincy McDuffie couldn't hold on. Richard Crawford was on his hip. As we take a look at what really is the maturation process more than anything of a true freshman quarterback, you can see scoring output has gone up week after week and improved for UCF this year.
Well, and Godfrey has been responsible for 13 touchdowns in the last 4 games. I mean, that's a great number and a great stat for him, but he's making better decisions, understanding when to take a shot down the field and when to pull it down and run with the football, and converting on 3rd downs with his legs. That's been the biggest difference.
2nd down and 10 to give to Murray. And he is stretched out, uses the stiff arm, and gets hammered out of bounds with a flag thrown from the secondary. Was that helmet to helmet? Taylor Reed pushed him out.
Grabbing the face mask.
Face mask instead. A personal foul against SMU.
The Mustangs have a good enough for UCF. 1st down.
Looked like both players got a bit of face mask. Latavius Murray got the face mask of Fleps, and Fleps got the face mask of Murray. That's just that always goes against the defense. It's legal, stiff arm in the face mask for an offensive player, but not for a defensive player, obviously.
Sounds like a bitter old offensive player to me. 1st and 10 at the 22 now for UCF. With wide receiver bubble screen. Caught by Newsome. And he's in the red zone down to the 19-yard line. Gain of 3.
We're going to see a lot of these bubble screens and slow screens from this UCF offense. I'm talking with offensive coordinator Charlie Taft. He says he wants to protect the young quarterback with the running game and the quick passing game and not sit back there and drop back pass 20, 25 times a game and try to block a 3-4 blitzing defense. He wants to get the ball on the perimeter, let his playmakers make plays.
Touchdown percentage in the red zone, very good this year for UCF, 71%. They're 39 of 55 getting into the red zone, or getting into the end zone once they're inside the 20. Cutback run for a couple of yards at best for Latavius Murray. 9th play of the drive brings up 3rd down as Taylor Reed made the stop. 3rd down and about 6.
Yeah, that's the same play they ran earlier and gashed him for an 8-yard gain. The cutback run by Murray, and SMU is going to learn very early in this game that Central Florida is going to be attacking that weakness in the defense and the cutback runs, and a great job by Taylor Reed, who leads this team with 122 tackles coming into today and reading it.
3rd down and 6. Opening drive of the game for Central Florida. Godfrey buying some time, retreating. They'll try and run for it. Reaches for the 1st down marker. They will mark him out of bounds at about the 15, 2 yards shy of a 1st down. Taylor Reed again was there to bump him out, and we've got an injured player for SMU.
I think that's Yuri Yenga that's down, number 45. He had him on the outside, had leverage, and the speed of Godfrey just gets right around Yenga. But great effort by Taylor Reed right there, number 44, the linebacker, in pursuit to knock Godfrey out before he got the 1st down.
There's a flag down as well, and Yuri Yenga is also down. He's the 3rd leading tackler for SMU's defense. No one touched him. It looked like he may have hurt his groin, his hamstring. He just dropped. We'll check in on Yenga when we come back. Trainers for SMU just helping Yuri Yenga off the field. Walked off very slowly. It's a young man whose family originally fled the Congo during the Civil War when he was in grammar school. First to Belgium, then to Dallas. And you'll see no one touched him. He just came up lame on this pursuit. He didn't play football until his sophomore year of high school and went on to be a 5A first-team All-State player in Texas.
Third down and 16 for UCF. Third down.
So they will miss him on that SMU defense if he can't come back. After the penalty, though, third down and 16. Check down underneath. Wide open Murray. Gets to the 15, very close to a first down. He is right at the first down marker. Richard Crawford made the stop on Latavius Murray. Wow. And it is a first down. Third and 16 conversion for UCF.
Well, the decision by June Jones to take the penalty, they had stopped him and forced a fourth down. They're just going to dump the ball off to Murray underneath and allow him to break a tackle and get a first down. But third and 16, no excuse for SMU defensively to give up that conversion.
Nick Catoy, the field goal kicker for UCF this year, is 50%. So June Jones played the odds to try and back up UCF. It didn't work. Murray up the middle. Stood up at the 15, drives his legs down to about the 13-yard line, or check that to about the 8-yard line inside the 10. Pete Fleps made the stop after a gain of 4.
This defense for SMU has struggled against the run. They give up 140 yards a game on the ground, and their linebackers are the ones that make plays. Not one of their defensive linemen are in the top 7 on this defense in tackles, so they are there to eat up linemen, and then the linebackers are the ones that have to roam the field sideline to sideline to make plays.
12th play of this opening drive for the Knights. On the keeper, it's Godfrey to about the 5-yard line. It'll be third down and 3.
There again, you see Taylor Reed. We've called his name several times in this drive, but he is not fooled on the zone read. We're going to see a lot of that from Godfrey and the Knights. Possibly see it again here on third down. They want to give Godfrey run-pass options, and if they can employ the zone read, especially down here close to the goal line where it's difficult to throw the ball, expect a similar type play here.
Godfrey to throw on third and 3. Flips it to Murray in the flat. At the pylon, reaches for the goal line. He's in. Touchdown, Latavius Murray, and UCF strikes first.
Just swung it out to Murray. Did he get in there? Looks like his forearm is down. That was close, closer than I thought it was, but I don't know that that ball crossed the goal line before his right forearm was down. When that forearm goes down, he is down. Looked like he got in.
No review necessary. Catoy tacks on the point after, and UCF opens up with a 13-play, 73-yard touchdown drive that took up the first half of the first quarter.
When you go back to the exception of that penalty, big first drive.
ESPN's college football is presented by 5-Hour Energy. Hours of energy now, no 2:30 feeling later. For more information, visit 5hourenergy.com.
George O'Leary took over as the head coach of UCF in 2004. You saw a shot of June Jones as well. He was introduced as SMU's head coach January 7th, 2008, and both have done terrific jobs with these respective programs, SMU and UCF, in the Conference USA Championship game. And it was Central Florida striking first, a big touchdown drive. They've got the 7-0 lead. SMU will have a chance with the football now for the first time today. Darius Johnson. Out to about the 21-yard line. Let's check in with Wendy Nix.
Bob, thank you. A reminder what's going on around our family of networks. The Big East still unsettled, though UConn controls its own destiny. You've got Pitt and Cincy on ESPN, Rutgers and West Virginia on ABC, and college hoops, Utah State and Georgetown on ESPNU.
All right, Wendy, thanks very much. The crowd's still filing into Bright House Network Stadium here in Orlando, but those that are here are loud as SMU takes over for the first time. Padron, the sophomore quarterback, had a terrific year. He'll go play action on first down. Look for a big one over the middle, and he's got it all the way down to about the 40-yard line of UCF. Darius Johnson split the safeties.
You're going to see the run and shoot offense from June Jones and SMU, and receivers have to read just like the quarterback. They read the defense. Johnson does a nice job getting into the zone in the middle of the field and an accurate throw. Good start for SMU on offense, and Kyle Padron, who's got 28 touchdowns on the year. He has been the trigger man that June Jones has been looking for, kind of his Colt Brennan at SMU.
Check down to the near side, dropped by Cole Beasley. Well, Brian Griese, I think the most interesting part of today's game, not just where these programs came from to reach this game, but the fact that they're built around two of the youngest and most exciting quarterbacks, certainly in this conference, maybe in the country.
Well, certainly Gottfried was a find in recruiting for UCF. He's got everything, the total package, been able to throw the ball very well, but also run it. And Kyle Padron fits the June Jones run and shoot style offense to a T, able to make the reads downfield. And he's got a bevy of wide receivers led by Aldrich Johnson, that Robinson, that today will give UCF fits in the secondary.
That throw dropped by Aldrich Robinson. Kyle Padron, as we said, the sophomore from South Lake, Texas. June Jones said they found him at a quarterback camp hosted at SMU. They had a lot of the top juniors in high school come to the quarterback camp. Many had already made BCS commitments. At South Lake Carroll, Kyle Padron was the backup. But after watching all the workouts, June Jones wrote Padron's name down on a piece of paper. Went to the offensive coordinator, Dan Morrison. Without asking him about Padron, said, just in general, who'd you like? Dan Morrison said, oh, Kyle Padron. He was the best here. June Jones flips over the piece of paper. That's the guy whose name I wrote down as well. I thought he was the best. They offered him a scholarship to SMU before he had even played a game of high school football. Now on third down and 10. Padron floats one to the sideline, throws it away. And the Mustangs will have to punt.
Well, UCF got good pressure on Padron in the pocket there. He had to throw that football away before he wanted to. He hurt his ankle a week ago, so he's not very mobile. Can't get out of the pocket well, and the offensive line and protection broke down, and he had to get rid of that football. Good job just throwing it away.
Matt Szymanski is the punter and place kicker for SMU. They'll try and pin the Knights deep. Fair catch called and made at the 12-yard line by Josh Robinson after a 29-yard punt. SMU changes field position, but they still trail UCF 7-0 here in the championship game.
Dr. Pepper Championship Weekend.
3 BCS bowl berths are on the line tonight on our ESPN family of networks. At 7:45 Eastern on ESPN, Florida State takes on Virginia Tech in the Dr. Pepper ACC Championship at 8 Eastern on ESPN2. UConn can clinch the Big East with a win over South Florida. And on ABC at 8 Eastern, Oklahoma, Nebraska in the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship. Brent Musburger and Kirk Herbstreit will have the call for that one. Dr. Pepper Championship Weekend on ABC, ESPN, and ESPN2 tonight. This is the Conference USA Championship game. Title on the line between UCF and SMU. Central Florida back to the offense inside their own 15. Latavius Murray bounces it left, and he's out close to the 19-yard line. Gain of about 6, close to 7 yards on first down. Taylor Thompson made the stop. And Jeff Godfrey, for a true freshman, Brian Griese, has put up some tremendous numbers this year. Best overall in Conference USA in passer efficiency. How about 7th in America in completion percentage? And look at the pass efficiency leaders in FBS. Look at the names that are on the list with Godfrey.
Yeah, all those names have teams that have been in the top 10 at some point during the year this year. Those are the who's who of college quarterbacks.
Godfrey under pressure, dodges a sack, keeps the play alive, and almost throws an interception. He was under pressure from Justin Smart. Ryan Smith had a chance at a pick.
Justin Smith, the linebacker, is in for the injured Urianga, and he comes off the edge and has Godfrey dead to rights. You see the athletic ability of Godfrey just to get out of Justin Smith's tackle, but the decision to throw that football, very dangerous, and that's what Godfrey has to avoid. He's very good, most dangerous when he's trying to make something out of nothing, but he just can't throw the ball to the other team. And in their 3 losses this year, they've thrown 7 interceptions and only 2 touchdowns, so he has to avoid that today.
UCF was 3 for 3 on 3rd down on their opening drive. Here comes the blitz. Godfrey steps up in the pocket, tries to run for it, close to a 1st down. And it looks like he's got it. Brought down right across our yellow 1st down line. And he's got the 1st down.
And that's a killer for a defense. You come with a blitz off the edge. You're going to see it at the right side of the offensive line. They bring pressure, but Godfrey, very comfortable, sees a lane. Rather than try to force the football, I say, I got great speed and athleticism. I'm going to convert on 3rd down, and that's what we were talking about with offensive coordinator Charlie Taft. They've converted 52% of their 3rd downs this year, and a lot of it has to do with the ability to scramble of Godfrey.
Four-man rush. Godfrey well protected. Over the middle. Wide open at the 45-yard line is Newsome. And Jamar Newsome has a 1st down out close to the 45, a gain of 21.
A lot has been made of the arm strength of Jeff Godfrey. He's only 5'11", but he sees well enough, and he's got plenty of arm on that football. Nice job of stopping Newsome in the hole, not throwing him into the safety where he creates a collision, but throwing a friendly ball to Newsome. Big play. When you start running the football well with Latavius Murray, and then Godfrey starts running the ball, the lanes to throw in the secondary start to open up.
Keeper and a cutback. Godfrey to midfield, picks up 6 yards. Pete Fleps tripped him up. He can jitterbug.
He certainly, I mean, he was dead to rights on that play. Jagarrett Davis, the outside linebacker, who is no slouch from a speed standpoint. Davis was a 110-meter hurdle champion. He just almost broke his ankle, number 56 there. They have got to contain Jeff Godfrey today if they're going to win this football game.
Close to a 1st down, brought down a yard shy by Jagarrett Davis. It'll be 3rd down and 1 for UCF. It's been Latavius Murray so far. Ronnie Weaver leads the team in rushing. We have yet to see him. It's been rush heavy so far for Central Florida, with the one big pass play from Godfrey to Jamar Newsome.
I think George O'Leary loves this style of play. Time of possession, keeping the football out of June Jones's offensive hands and giving his defense a rest.
UCF is 4 for 4 already on 3rd down. Murray bounces it up the middle. They're 5 for 5. That's the 20th offensive play that Central Florida has run here in the 1st quarter. SMU's only run 4 plays.
Well, this is the recipe that Central Florida has been using all year. They have outscored their opponents 124 to 27 in the 1st quarter this year, and the slow start for SMU has been their MO. They have not been able to keep up with teams early in games, and George O'Leary is very content to rush the football, mix in some short, quick passing and screens, continue to pound this SMU defense.
Godfrey on a scramble to the edge, picks up a yard, maybe 2, as we go back to Wendy.
Bob, thank you very much. A Taco Bell studio update. West Virginia still has a shot at the Big East, but they need some help from UConn. They got to get the job done today against Rutgers on ABC. Geno Smith to Tavon Austin, 19 yards, and the Mountaineers are on the board.
Well, the Big East Championship, Wendy, is still very much up in the air with multiple teams involved. The Conference USA Championship, this is it. The winner of this game wins the title between UCF and SMU in Central Florida on another impressive march that began back inside their own 15-yard line. The belly option that time didn't work, though. Justin Smart, great read as he brings down Murray for a loss. And it'll be 3rd down and long.
Well, they bring Justin Smart off the edge in a blitz, and he just has to make a decision of who he wants to tackle, the quarterback or the running back. He doesn't know who's going to have the ball, and Godfrey almost pulled that ball back out when he realized that Justin Smart was tackling the halfback in the backfield.
Bob Shoes and Brian Greasy here in Orlando. Central Florida has had the ball for almost the entire first quarter of this championship game. Conference USA title on the line between UCF and SMU. And this is the 10th play of this drive, 3rd and 11. Here comes the blitz again. Godfrey under pressure, and he'll be sacked. Taylor Reed came right up the middle, completely unaccounted for, and that sack backs UCF up inside their own 45-yard line.
Yeah, 3rd and long, and Tom Mason, the defensive coordinator, comes with the cross dog blitz right in the middle of the screen. You're going to see Taylor Reed comes right behind Fleps, unblocked. The left guard is unable to get to him, and a big play for the SMU defense to get off the field.
That's a big stop for the Mustangs. Crawford, the punt returner, lets it fly in behind him, and it takes a sideways bounce the wrong direction for UCF and into the end zone. It looked as if Blake Klingon had killed that one inside the 5. Let's take a look at today's Saturday menu, brought to you by Applebee's. Big games coming up. If Oregon wins, then they are headed to the BCS championship game. They'll take on Oregon State at 3:30 on ABC. UConn trying to get a BCS berth as well. ESPN2 later on tonight against USF. How about Florida State finding their way to the ACC title game? We were in Tallahassee last week. Jimbo Fisher wouldn't let the score of that NC State Maryland game up on the scoreboard, but all the Knowles fans happy afterwards.
They got their hands full with Tyrod Taylor, who's playing the best football of any quarterback in the ACC right now.
Zach Line pounds out about 4 yards, brought down by Lawrence Young, and June Jones in his 3rd year at SMU. We asked him why he keeps taking on these reclamation projects. It was an 0-11 Hawaii team that he went to and took that program back to unheard of heights in his home state. Now he comes to SMU, a team that, of course, famously got the death penalty back in 1987. Had no football for 2 years, and basically a program not heard from, averaging 3 wins a year for 20 years until June Jones took over. And that'll take us to the end of the first quarter. The Conference USA Championship game, 7-0. UCF over SMU here in Orlando. Perfect day for football here in Orlando. College football presented by 5 Hour Energy here on ESPN. All part of Dr. Pepper Championship Weekend. SMU and Central Florida set to begin the second quarter of the Conference USA Championship game. Bob Shoes and Brian Greasy with you.
Start the second quarter, 2nd and 6 for the Mustangs.
The student section was rocking about an hour before the game, and Kyle Padron on 2nd and 6 backed right up with the noise of that student section right behind him. Gives to Line. Line's out close to a 1st down. And Brian, June Jones, as we talked about, he's been raised in the run and shoot. That has a lot to do with why he has taken all the different jobs he has through his career.
Yeah, he said that he could only take the jobs at places where they had tried everything else on offense to try to win, and then they said, well, we'll take a flyer on June Jones in this renegade, or as he put it, communistic style of offense, the run and shoot, which he made famous in Houston with Warren Moon, but also in Atlanta and San Diego, and then he went to Hawaii, who had lost 18 games in a row before he came there and turned that program around to a 9-4 season, and then eventually to the BCS game in the Sugar Bowl.
SMU calls timeout. Well, SMU made its first bowl appearance since 1984 last year, and it was a successful one. The Mustangs scored 31 first-half points en route to a 45-10 win over Nevada. The largest margin of victory and the largest in school bowl game history. June Jones, a winner in his first game back at Aloha Stadium, where he was the coach of Hawaii from 1999 through 2007. And he is the father of the turnaround. He has taken teams, look at what Hawaii had done. They were 0-11 when he took them over, and they make a bowl appearance the next year. SMU's 1-11. And he brings them to a bowl game last season.
I think the biggest thing is he gets his kids to believe that they can win. He brings in a style of offense that is up-tempo and upbeat, throwing the football, but those kids have to believe that they're going to win.
Third down the half-yard. Padron tries to get a little forward push. I'm not sure he got there.
Well, he had to get to the 30-yard line to get a first down. And
on the hit is Kamal Ishmael.
The official on the far side of the field ran in on the inside of the line. The official that's spotting the ball ran in right on the line. And the line judge on the near side ends up spotting the ball right at the first down marker. And it looks like it's a first down.
They didn't get a whole lot of push up front, and it certainly didn't look like he got to the line from that angle, unless he burrowed underneath there. But a fortunate spot for the SMU Mustangs.
Draw play. Breaking tackles is Zach Line. Nice cut back at the 50. All the way to the UCF 46-yard line goes Zach Line. The old high school linebacker, #1 in Conference USA in rushing.
And look at the block by 64 Tennyson, the left guard, takes the Mike linebacker out. And once Line gets past the first line of defense, he's into the secondary for a 23-yard gain. And Zach Line has been the difference maker on offense for SMU. Everybody talks about the run and shoot, but Zach Line has added an element of running the football to this June Jones offense that has made them dynamic.
Receiver hitch caught by Darius Johnson for about a yard. Well, Zach Line's a great story. He wasn't getting any attention in high school as a linebacker. He had played football, though, with the son of the Detroit Lions vice president of communications. That guy knows June Jones and said, you know, there's a player up here you should look at, and sends him a DVD of Zach Line. And June Jones said, well, I could tell he's more talented than any of the guys we had, so let's bring him down and see what happens. And the old high school linebacker becomes a tailback at SMU, and this past year, #1 in Conference USA at over 108 yards per game rushing. You never know where you're going to find a player. Same play. Johnson, much more successful this time. He's got a first down to the 32-yard line.
Well, and you look at Line, what he's done this year, but for his career now, actually for this season, he's third behind Eric Dickerson. Eric Dickerson in 1981 and 82 at 1,400 yards and 1,617 yards. But Zach Line has an opportunity with less than 100 yards from second place. That's pretty good company there to be in if you're Zach Line.
It's not bad when your name is mentioned with the 6th all-time leading rusher in NFL history. Play action for Padron. Looking end zone, has a man in the back of the end zone and overthrew Aldrick Robinson. Justin Body couldn't stay with Robinson, but Padron floated it out of play.
Wow, that's a big missed opportunity there for Kyle Padron. He had Robinson wide open. You're going to see him. He's right here. He's going to run the post route wide open down the field, and Padron has got to hit these. When you get an opportunity against this UCF defense, which is very stingy, only giving up 18 points a game, and Robinson, one of the fastest players on the field today, but he's got 12 touchdowns on the year. He is their big play receiver, and Padron would love to have that throw back.
Kyle Padron, only a sophomore. 2 young quarterbacks in this game. Padron up the seam. Again, he floats it over the head of his intended receiver. That time it was Keenan Holman. Josh Robinson was back in coverage. So 2 high wobbly throws from Padron.
Well, and back-to-back, as you said, last week against East Carolina, he missed some throws in the first half. Says he's a very excitable. June Jones says he's very excitable. Sometimes I got to calm him down. Last week he said he had a lot of adrenaline pumping through his veins, and certainly it looks like the same thing today in the championship game. But he's got to settle down, hit those throws, be accurate, because these receivers are getting open for SMU.
draw play on 3rd and 10. And Zach Line barely gets to the 30-yard line. Pickup of 3 yards. Bruce Miller made the stop. Now it's 4th down and 7 at the 30. Do you try a 48-yard field goal, or do you maybe go for it on 4th and 7? It looks like Matt Szymanski's going to come out and try a field goal. He kicked a 61-yarder.
Yeah, he's got plenty of
earlier this year.
He's got the leg. It's the accuracy that we're worried about.
47-yard attempt to get SMU on the board. Missed it right. So a 10-play drive for SMU comes up empty. And UCF still with the 7-0 lead.
Well, and 2 missed opportunities from Kyle Padron, who had guys downfield open, forced the attempt, and they come up empty.
ESPN's College Football, brought to you by Jeep. Visit Jeep.com to learn more. At Wendy's, you know when it's real.
Eric Dickerson and ESPN's own Craig James, teammates, part of the Pony Express for SMU from 1979 through 1982, which would eventually certainly go sour. And if you'd like to know why, Pony Excess, part of ESPN's 30 for 30 series, premieres December 11th at 9 Eastern on ESPN, right after the Heisman Trophy presentation presented by Nissan. Obviously, those were the glory years on the field. Off the field, not so much for SMU, as they would get the death penalty later on in the 80s. Back to the offense goes UCF. Ronnie Weaver up the near sideline across the 30 out to about the 38-yard line as he broke the tackle of Justin Smart.
But ironically, Bob, you know, Eric Dickerson had a lot to do with getting June Jones to come to SMU. They were friends from the NFL, and Eric Dickerson had conversations with June Jones about the position. And when the things kind of went south in Hawaii and June Jones decided that he was going to make a change, Eric Dickerson was right there to entice him to come to SMU and try to turn this program around.
And off to Weaver. Bounces it outside. He's got a 1st down. We'll talk about an unlikely member of this offense in Ronnie Weaver. He was too slow and too small in high school. He got no offers. Actually, he only played running back as a senior in high school, switching from safety, but he came to UCF and walked on in 2007. He actually impressed George O'Leary and the coaches so much that they put him on scholarship the next year. And he told a story about how he called his mom to let her know that he was just put on scholarship, and in the middle of the grocery store, his mom is jumping up and down and screaming right in the frozen food section.
He said he couldn't go back to that grocery store ever.
Godfrey sets up the screen to Kamar Aiken. Aiken picks up a block. Gets to midfield, pickup of 3. Chris Banjo on the stop.
By number 23, Chris Banjo. 3-yard gain on the play, 2nd and 7 from midfield.
SMU finally put a drive together a moment ago to take back a little bit of time of possession, but for the most part, all we've seen is this UCF offense here in the first half.
Well, they're doing it with the kind of production that they've had all year on the ground. They're 3rd in the conference rushing the football at just under 200 yards a game. And Weaver and Latavius Murray have been a big part of that, but Godfrey adds to that as well.
Weaver, no chance. Lost 5, back to the 45. Marcus Hunt and Justin Smart combined to swamp under Weaver behind the line.
Boy, look at the left side of this line. They're just going to come in a zone dog blitz off the edge, and Tom Mason, the defensive coordinator for SMU, says, I've got to make some plays and get off the field. This ball control style of offense is killing us right now, and they're going to look for SMU to be a little bit more aggressive with their blitz packages, just try to stop the zone read offense, but they've got to be able to contain Godfrey when they blitz. That's a key for them today.
3rd down and 12. Play clock down to 4. Here comes the blitz again. Godfrey buying time, and he'll scramble out of bounds. Hunt chased him out, and the blitz again, pressures Godfrey and forces UCF to punt.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they want to do. The zone blitz on second down forces a 3rd and 12, and that's a very difficult situation for Godfrey and UCF to convert. They bring another blitz and do a nice job in containment, running him out of bounds.
Clingan to punt and gets away a beauty. Forces a fair catch by Richard Crawford just inside the 15-yard line. 39-yard punt, no return. Central Florida with a 7-0 lead here in the championship game.
Need money for research. It may not save my life. It may save my children's lives. It may save someone you love.
Hey, it's Jimmy V Week for cancer research here on ESPN. For more information or to make a donation, go to jimmyv.org or call 1-800-4-JIMMY-V. Well, obviously, so many people's lives have been touched by cancer, and it has touched this UCF football program as well. Darius Nall, junior outside defensive end, who leads UCF in sacks this season, in June of 2008 felt a burning pain in his chest, and doctors ended up, after an examination, finding a baseball-sized malignant tumor attached to his right lung. He underwent 3 surgeries. Part of one of the surgeries removed a portion of his lung. He lost 40 pounds, but by November of 2009, he was declared cancer-free, and now we're here in 2010, and he leads UCF in sacks, and he's a football player again. Kyle Padron on first down, dumps it underneath, wide open is Beasley. Cole Beasley breaks a tackle, and he's all the way out to the 34-yard line. And Brian Greasy, obviously cancer I know has touched your life as well, and sometimes folks wonder where all that money goes to when they donate to the Jimmy V Foundation.
Yeah, you know, my mother died of breast cancer when I was 12 years old, and I've been very fortunate to be involved on the board of advisors at the Moffitt Cancer Center in Tampa, which is one of the recipients of some of the monies that come from the Jimmy V Foundation. And for those people that are wondering where that money goes, it's places like the Moffitt Cancer Center that are doing groundbreaking research and trying to find a cure for cancer.
Run blitz on first down for UCF does the job as Zach Line is brought down after a gain of 1.5 yards by Josh Lynham.
Ishmael, Lynham, they're on the tackle.
You know, we mentioned the biggest difference in this SMU offense under June Jones this year is Zach Line and being able to run the football. And he's has over 1,200 yards on the season. And last week after the game, he took out his offensive line to dinner and to say thank you for helping pave the way for that 1,000-yard season. But he has become the most productive back ever in a June Jones offense in college.
Receiver screen caught by Johnson up the sideline. It'll be 3rd down and about 5 after we check in with Wendy.
Bob, thank you. The weather conditions quite a bit different in this game. Pitt and Cincinnati playing in the snow. Dion Lewis, though, it doesn't stop him. Finds some traction, and off he goes, 76 yards to the end zone. It's Lewis's 2nd touchdown of the day, and it is 14-7. Pittsburgh on top, 10 minutes to play in the first half.
Yeah, Wendy, when our crew was assigned the Conference USA Championship game in December in Orlando, we were crushed.
I got a call from my old man. He's in Cincinnati. He says, what's going on here?
3rd down and 5. Here comes the blitz from UCF. Padron stands in, delivers a strike, and he's got a first down to Darius Johnson. Out to the 45-yard line, Kamel Ishmael came up the middle and popped Kyle Padron.
Yeah, Kamel Ishmael, the free safety, came on a blitz right up the middle of the offensive line. Padron, nice job standing in there knowing he's going to take a shot. Throwing an accurate ball for a big 3rd down conversion. Darius Johnson has made some difficult catches early in this ball game on the screens, balls behind him. He is a 3rd down threat for the SMU Mustangs.
Already 5 catches for 60 yards for Darius Johnson. Line with a cut back to midfield. 6 more yards for SMU.
Tripped up by Sabel.
Wes Tanufi Salbau made the stop.
That's such a big bonus to be able to hand the ball to the big 235-pound bruiser on first down. He's averaging over 6 yards a carry on the seasons, Bob, and it puts you in great down and distance situations where if you try to throw the ball almost exclusively on first down, you're going to have incompletions, and then you're going to be behind the sticks. But at 2nd and 4, June Jones has got a play caller's delight right here.
That carry by line right on his average, by the way. 6.2 yards per carry this season. They'll try him again. Nice bounce to the outside, and line with a flag down has a first down if the play stands to the 41-yard line of UCF. And it's going to be holding, though. Maybe against Aldrick Robinson, the wide receiver out on the edge.
Holding. 24 on the offense. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
Aldrick Robinson did a nice job of blocking initially, and then as the play developed, just held on a little bit too long. He had good position. Right there is where you got to let go. You can't continue to hold that guy as the ball bounces outside of you. You got to let him go. Otherwise, they're going to call that. The hand outside the shoulder is a hold every time.
44-yard line. 2nd and 11.
That's a spot foul on Robinson, so it's 2nd down and 11 after the hold. Line right up the middle. 2 yards at best. Troy Davis with 6.5 tackles for loss this year. Made the stop, only a sophomore. It'll be 3rd and long.
Yeah, this UCF defense, they've got depth on the front 7. They're first in the conference against the rush, only giving up 111 yards a game. First in total defense as well. So they have been stymieing offenses, and offenses are very good in this conference. 5 of these teams are in the top 20 in scoring offense in the country, and UCF has been solid on defense, only averaging 18 points given up.
Play clock down to 3. Does Padron realize it? Play clock at 1. They just do get 3rd and 10 off. Padron steps up in the pocket, finds a man over the middle, and it's Johnson. He's got another first down. Darius Johnson, yards after the catch, moves the chains for SMU.
Chance Henderson and Derek Coleman, good enough.
Darius Johnson has been a go-to guy for SMU. He's just going to run an under route. Padron goes to his 3rd progression, and then the yards after the catch will get him the first down. It's not easy to catch the ball in traffic over the middle, and you've got to have a certain kind of temperament to go in there. That case, he was pretty wide open, but a lot of times you catch that ball in the middle of the field, and there's a linebacker or a safety right there to blow you up. You've got to have metal to go in there.
Trapped to line. Lost a yard. Josh Lynam made the stop. It'll be 2nd down and 11. Bob Wischusen alongside Brian Greasy here at the Conference USA Championship game. A gorgeous day
2nd and 11 for the 46.
here in Orlando. SMU only a minute and a half time of possession in the first quarter, and they're only down by a touchdown. Dominating at least between the 20s and certainly on the clock. Central Florida, 116 total yards, and a great start to the game by Latavius Murray. Now it's 2nd down and 11 for SMU. The last drive for the Mustangs got all the way down inside the 30-yard line of UCF, but SMU missed a field goal. This is the 10th play of this drive. Padron looking for the home run. Man-to-man coverage. Robinson knocked away. Josh Robinson on Aldrick Robinson, and Josh won the battle.
Aldrick Robinson just going to run a go route. He's one of the fastest players on the field today, but Josh Robinson says, I got some speed too. He hangs right with him, and at the very end, a great play, getting the one hand on the football, and Mr. Robinson on Mr. Robinson, and Josh won that battle.
Josh Robinson was a freshman All-American last season with 6 interceptions. Only 1 interception this year, but that was his 12th pass defensed this year. That's got him in the top 25 in America. 3rd and 11. Padron scrambling. The heat coming. Padron tries to run for it with a cutback and gets to the 40. Brought down 5 yards shy of a first down by Chance Henderson. So now it's 4th and 5 at the 40.
6-yard gain
And June Jones is going to send out the punt unit and try and ping UCF deep.
SMU has made a living with big plays this year, and they just haven't been able to connect downfield. They've had opportunities, but the defense from UCF, give them credit, they've been there.
See if SMU lets the play clock wind all the way down before they snap it to rob UCF of some time. No, they snap it with 9 seconds on the play clock. Zemansky punts it in the end zone. So not only did SMU save UCF about 8 seconds by snapping the ball too early, they kicked it in the end zone as well. ABC delivers the #2 team in the nation this afternoon at 3:30 Eastern. Heisman hopeful LaMichael James and Oregon will take on Jacquizz Rodgers and Oregon State in the Civil War. Win and the Ducks are in the BCS championship game. College football presented by Kay Jewelers this afternoon at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. And talk about getting fired up while we were away here at the Conference USA championship game. The sophomore Josh Robinson breaks up a possible touchdown pass, and the Knights get a stop on defense.
Yeah, big stop for SMU. Last 2 drives on offense, 10 and 11 plays and no points.
So UCF has the football back. All 3 timeouts and under 2 minutes to go. And that catch looks to be good for a first down for Kamar Aiken. Stops the clock right at the 30-yard line, and it will be a first down for UCF.
Well, this will be an interesting drive with Jeff Godfrey and what George O'Leary decides to do here with a little under 2 minutes left in the first half, all 3 timeouts. Does he turn it loose here with his true freshman quarterback only up a touchdown, let him throw the ball and try to move down and get in position to maybe score a touchdown?
Here comes the blitz. False start. Aubrey Leggins, the left tackle, backed up early.
False start. 66 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
It was interesting talking with George O'Leary this week, and he said the maturation process of his young quarterback has been very impressive to him. He's learned the system. He said he loves the quarterback position and reading defenses, and is a student of the game. Reminded him a lot of Joe Hamilton, another sub-6 footer that he had at Georgia Tech, who was very successful for Georgia O'Leary, and he has all the tools that O'Leary looks for in a quarterback, and learned quite a bit on the job training this year.
First and 15, 5-man rush. Up the sideline, making the catch right on the chalk is A.J. Guyton. He's about 2 yards shy of the first down. Godfrey got popped by Kevin Grenier.
Good accurate throw on the sideline. Looked like he bobbled that football. He's got the feet down, but did he have possession? Looked like they called that a catch, but you're right, Bob. A nice throw from the pocket from Godfrey, standing in there taking the shot. He said his favorite quarterback, not a dual threat guy, his favorite quarterback in all of football, Drew Brees. So that tells you a little bit about the mindset of young Jeff Godfrey.
Well, 5'11", 176 pounds. I'm sure that's one of the reasons why he's inspired by Drew Brees. As Ronnie Weaver comes up short of the first down, and this might be a time for UCF to call one of their timeouts.
Taylor Reed.
As this is a big third down coming up, and it'll take us down inside of a minute and a half to go, and George O'Leary is going to have his team huddle up on 3rd down and a half yard.
Yeah, see, this conservative approach has everything to do with a young quarterback, and George O'Leary knows that. He says, my defense is playing well. I don't want to put my quarterback in any position where he could potentially turn the football over and give momentum to SMU.
UCF has been terrific on 3rd down so far here in the first half. Right up the middle, and that looks to be a first down carry by Weaver. It'll stop the clock for the moment.
Now you take the timeout.
That'll be good enough for UCF.
And they will call a timeout with 1:03 to go here in the first half and a 7-0 lead as we go back to Wendy Nix.
Bob, thank you. Coming up in the Sprint halftime report, the Big East is still very much up for grabs, so UConn is in the driver's seat. We'll help you sort it out. Todd McShay and Robert Smith are here with our Saturday setup, and in hot stuff news, as we get ready for baseball's winter meetings, Adrian Gonzalez headed to the Red Sox. Bob?
All right, right, Wendy, thanks very much. So the true freshman Jeff Godfrey getting a chance to run the 2-minute offense here for UCF in the Conference USA Championship game. Bob Wischusen, Brian Greasy here in Orlando. And Brian, you mentioned obviously Godfrey, the continuing education of a quarterback, but the main reason he came to UCF was David Kelly, the assistant head coach to George O'Leary, began scouting Jeff Godfrey when he was in 8th grade and projected him as a quarterback all the way through high school. This was one of the only schools that thought of Godfrey as a quarterback. He was recruited by other schools, but everybody else recruited him as a corner or as a wide receiver. They wanted to convert him. He came here because he believed all along, as did his dad, that he was a quarterback. Tried to hit Jamar Newsom with a bullet up the sideline. Sterling Moore broke it up.
And on the breakup, number 2, Sterling Moore.
Yeah, I think it was a good decision, obviously a good decision from UCF to give him an opportunity to play the quarterback position, because he's got rare ability to throw the football. He's got a great arm. He throws it accurately in the leadership aspect, which he certainly has. They say he's got that certain air about him. He's not cocky, but he's very confident, understands, and will study the game.
Closing in on Dante Culpepper's record for yards thrown by a Central Florida freshman quarterback. 2nd and 10. Low snap. Godfrey flips it wide open, making the catch, coming back to help his quarterback is Brian Waters, and he's got a first down.
This is part of the play by number 6, Brian Waters.
Sterling Moore down on the play as well. And he is really in pain. The helmet comes off.
First down.
He had a knee.
Injured player.
Missed 5 games this year with a knee injury.
Sterling Moore.
He's hurt again. We'll step aside.
There are universities that have 100 years head start on us, but discoveries don't come from age. They come from innovation. At UCF, we play by new rules. We're pushing the limits. We're growing, inventing, and creating. Because fitting in is not standing out. 100 years head start, pretty impressive. But this is our time, and we're just getting started.
Sterling Moore might be the best corner that SMU has. He has 2 interceptions and 7 passes broken up this season in spite of missing 5 games with a knee injury.
There he is right here, and he's just going to plant on that left leg, which is the leg that he injured, and it just buckled on him, and that's not a good sign for Sterling Moore. He missed, as we said, 5 games this year, and June Jones felt like he was his best corner, could potentially have NFL talent, but that knee has just been unreliable for Sterling Moore all year.
So now SMU down 2 very important starters. Yori Yenga, 3rd leading tackler. Outside linebacker went down with an injury on the opening possession. And now Sterling Moore, who might be the Mustangs' best corner, has to be helped off the field as well, replaced by Benny Thomas. But in a championship game, you want all hands on deck, and Tom Mason, the defensive coordinator for SMU, is now without 2 of his best weapons. Slant thrown behind Waters, but he adjusts, makes the catch, and has a first down to the 29-yard line of SMU. Right in front of Benny Thomas, Sterling Moore's replacement.
Yeah, they're going to go right after Benny Thomas, see if he can hold up against his 2-minute drill.
They go right back that way again. The catch made again by Waters, and he gets out of bounds. Benny Thomas couldn't wrap him up inbounds, and as a result, the clock is able to stop, and UCF holds on to both of their timeouts.
Benny Thomas.
And that's a big play by Waters, the wide receiver, the 5th-year senior, just to get out of bounds. If he's tackled inbounds, they got to use one of their timeouts, but it's those little plays, those little effort plays that through the course of the game add up to wins and losses at the end.
Good first half for Jeff Godfrey as well. 10 of 13. 2nd down and 5. 4-man rush. Godfrey, another crossing route. This time it's Aiken. Down the sideline of the 10. Kamar Aiken, 1st and goal for UCF to the 3-yard line. And now you want to probably probably spend one of your timeouts. Yep. It looks like Godfrey wants to spike the ball, but George O'Leary instead calls timeout from the sideline. You want to save the play there. You got 2 timeouts left. Save the play, and George O'Leary, he jumped his quarterback and called a timeout before Godfrey could spike it.
Well, you saw Benny Thomas, the replacement for Sterling Moore, getting targeted, and now the backup for Urienga, Justin Smart, number 40. They're targeting him. He couldn't catch up to the wide receiver, and underneath throws, the short throws and yards after the catch have been killers for the SMU defense, and Jeff Godfrey, accurate throws, gives him a chance to get down the field.
Well, Sunday night, ESPN gets you ready for the bowl season. First at 8:15 Eastern, catch the final BCS countdown and witness the official unveiling of each BCS bowl matchup. Then at 9 Eastern, find out where your team will be playing this postseason in the bowl selection special and get a breakdown of each matchup from our experts. The BCS countdown presented by Tostitos, and then the bowl selection special on ESPN on Sunday. After the timeout, 1st and goal. 10th play of the drive. Godfrey buying some time. He'll try and run for it. And he gets ripped out of bounds by Marquise Frazier. And no flag comes out. The crowd was looking for what might have been a face mask, but we'll have to take another look.
I think Frazier had him around the neck. Didn't get his hands on the face mask. It looked like a violent hit, but great effort from Marquise Frazier. 300-pounder chasing down Godfrey on the edge.
18 seconds or 17 seconds, pardon me, to go here in the first half. 2nd and goal.
Godfrey was lucky that he was able to get out of bounds and not have to use his last time out there.
Here comes the blitz. Godfrey over the middle. Should have been intercepted. He went to a hot read over the middle, and a flag comes out as well, thrown late from the back of the end zone. He threw it right into the arms of Chris Banjo, and Banjo couldn't hold on.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. 81 on the offense. 15-second penalty. Dead ball foul will be 3rd down.
Boy, what a killer for UCF. Now it's going to be 3rd down and goal from all the way back out at the 18-yard line.
Well, SMU came with an all-out blitz, and Banjo just dropped the football, but right there, the retaliation, Benny Thomas and Kamar Aiken, and Kamar Aiken just loses his cool there. That's a big penalty.
To the 18-yard line.
Well, Benny Thomas is a senior. He replaced Sterling Moore. Got beat a couple times to start the drive, but that was a veteran move. And a timeout now called on defense by SMU. Benny Thomas looked like an agitator in the NHL, right? A little rub to your opponent, then all of a sudden he gives you a shot back, and you act like someone shot you with a Colt 45, and you go down in a heap and draw a flag.
Well, and that's a frustration play there by Aiken. You know, he's had a disappointing year by all accounts. You know, last year in 2009 he had 9 touchdowns, caught 36 balls, and averaged 17 yards a catch, and they were depending on him. He was going to be the #1 receiver coming into this season, but he's been overshadowed by Jamar Newsome.
Kamar Aiken was drawing comparisons to Brandon Marshall and Mike Sims Walker, a couple of UCF greats, based on the 9 touchdown performance last season, only 2 touchdown catches this year. He's had some injuries as well, a sprained ankle and a sprained knee have hurt him through the year. So after the timeout, 12th play of the drive, 3rd and goal from the 18. 3-man rush. And Godfrey gets some yards to set up the field goal attempt. Gets down to the 12-yard line. Down to 4 seconds to go. So UCF will call their last timeout and try and get 3 before halftime. Let's take a look at our Vizio BCS standings. Most of the top of the BCS not playing, but Oregon's playing, as is Auburn. Championship game for the Auburn Tigers. And so TCU, Stanford, Wisconsin among the teams that are waiting to see what happens in the SEC title game in the Civil War in Oregon.
You think if South Carolina can protect the football, give themselves a chance in that game against Auburn. They turned it over 4 times in the fourth quarter earlier in this year when they lost.
Catoy from 29 yards out, tacks on 3 for UCF. That'll take us to halftime in the Conference USA Championship game. Central Florida under George O'Leary trying to win this game for the 2nd time. They last won it in 2007. They lead SMU 10-0 at the break. Now it's Wendy Nix in the studio. Time for the Sprint halftime report. Wendy?
Welcome back to college football on ESPN, presented by 5-Hour Energy.
Just about set for the start of the second half, the Conference USA Championship game. ESPN College Football presented by 5-Hour Energy. Central Florida with the 10-0 lead over SMU. Bob Wischusen and Brian Greasy with you here in Orlando. Welcome to Jimmy V Week for Cancer Research on ESPN. We continue our commitment to the V Foundation and Jim Valvano's dream to defeat cancer. This is normally one of, if not the highest scoring championship games in college football. 10 points total in the first half. At times good defense, but also some missed opportunities.
Well, certainly downfield for Kyle Padron. Normally he's very accurate, but he struggled early in this game. He had Aldrick Robinson down the field on a couple of situations and just missed him here. Same play that they ran a week ago at East Carolina, where he was accurate and hit the deep ball to Robinson. Today he hasn't been able to hook up with him, and Robinson has got no catches in this football game. And good coverage by Robinson, and the UCF defense as well has played into that. But if they are going to get back in this game, and June Jones is known for making his adjustments at halftime, he's got to get the football to Aldrick Robinson and Cole Beasley, who only has 1 catch today.
That was our expert breakdown brought to you by Farmers Insurance. June Jones' team lost the toss. UCF took the football to start. So it'll be the Mustangs to start the second half with the football. What a great student section they have here at UCF. This is one of the biggest student bodies in America. And while a lot of the alums and the older fans were still out in the parking lot tailgating, this group was in here an hour before kickoff. And they were fired up to host the title game. And they've got a 10-0 lead as we start the second half. And a good kickoff that drives Darius Johnson about 5 yards deep. And he'll take a knee. So SMU will have the football at their own 20-yard line, and they were dominated in terms of time of possession. Actually started to even it out a bit as the first half moved on, but 17.5 minutes to about 12.5 minutes, UCF dominated the clock big time in the first quarter especially.
It's hard to score points when you don't have the football. And they had 2 drives of 1 of 10 and 1 of 11 plays and got no points out of those 2 drives. Missed field goal and a punt. And they have got to get something going in positive momentum in this first drive of the second half.
Padron well protected. The pocket starts to break down, and he breaks a tackle. And scrambles for 8 yards.
Covered up by Josh Lionel.
Now, Padron's not a small character. He's 6'4", 210 pounds, and he's got some mobility. Now, he's limited a little bit because of an ankle injury that he suffered a week ago, but when he has to, he can pull the football down and get positive yards. He's going to get tired running back and forth to the sideline to get the play, though. He's got to go over to June Jones after every play to get the call, and you got to be in good shape because you're running 50-yard wind sprints back and forth.
UCF was the only team to shut out SMU in the first half this season. Zach line, cuts back, dives for what looks to be a first down. Victor Gray for UCF there to make the stop. It depends on the spot of the football, and it will be a first down for SMU.
First down, Mustangs.
I think that's a little bit old school football. June Jones requiring his quarterbacks to come over and get the call directly from him. He's not into hand signals or running play. He doesn't trust the players to run them in from the sideline. So he just says, hey, you're going to run over and you're going to get the call from me, and then you're going to get back out on the field. So you better be in good shape.
Draw play to line. for about 4 yards.
You see the continued commitment by June Jones to the running game and to Zach Line. That's what got them this far this season, and he's going to stay committed to it. I mean, you think of the run and shoot in June Jones, you think about throwing the ball all over the lot. Kyle Jones only attempted 13 passes in this football game, and Zach Line has 11 attempts rushing the football, so he is committed to it. It's very different than what he tried to do at Hawaii, where he threw the ball almost exclusively.
Padron, pocket collapses and he goes down, sacked, and that was a coverage sack. Bruce Miller brought him down. 6th sack of the year for Miller.
6th sack of the year for Miller. He's got 33 career sacks. That's #1 in UCF history, and that's just an effort play there. Padron held on to the ball a little bit too long, and Bruce Miller, who's an effort guy, just came right around the edge, bulldozed the left tackle, Beecham, who's their best offensive lineman, and got to Padron.
He was a skinny guy in high school. As a freshman, almost quit football, but his mom drove him back to practice when he wanted to give it up. He was the conference player of the year on defense last year. Padron hit as he throws, finds a man. Short of the first down is Darius Johnson. So again, the pressure came. That time Lawrence Young got in the face of Kyle Padron, and SMU will have to punt it away.
Well, UCF is not going to let SMU get into a rhythm here in the second half. They're bringing pressure with their front four. If they can get pressure on Padron without having to blitz, it's going to be a long second half for the Mustangs.
Szymanski to punt. Josh Robinson, 5th best in the country. 17.5 yards per punt return. Drops it, though, at the 7-yard line. Picks it back up. And then lost the football. Fumbles it at the 15. But it doesn't seem like either team thinks they have it. Usually you got a player or two pointing in one direction or the other. And UCF avoids disaster as Josh Robinson coughed it up. But they recover at their own 15-yard line.
They dodged a big bullet. George O'Leary said in championship games, penalties, turnovers, and field position are what determine the outcome. They dodged a bullet there.
I play for second chances for the community.
In high definition is presented by Vizio. ESPN's college football, brought to you by eHarmony.com. eHarmony, love begins here.
Dante Culpepper rewrote virtually all of UCF's passing records. His senior season threw for 3,690 yards and 28 touchdowns. Now, Jeff Godfrey, when he was in high school at Miami Central, taped all of Ja'Cory Harris's Dade County passing records up on his wall and said he would break them. And you know what? He did. Threw for 7,251 yards total in high school, including 36 touchdowns as a senior. Came to UCF, and now he's got Dante Culpepper's records in front of him as well. Starts this drive at the 15. Running wide, no room for Latavius Murray. Margus Hunt was there to make the stop.
Well, if you're SMU, you came out, you wanted to get something done on offense with your first possession of the second half, but you go 5 plays and a punt. Now you put your defense back out there, and this defense has played relatively well in the first half against UCF. Certainly they've been on the field a lot during the first half, but only give up 10 points. We were talking with defensive coordinator Tom Mason. He said, my magic number is 28 points. If I can hold UCF to 28 points, we feel like we did a good job.
A strike thrown over the middle. Out close to the 30-yard line to A.J. Guyton. And Godfrey had some mustard on that throw, a gain of 13.
Chris Manto with the tackle. That
Good read by read by Godfrey, but a nice catch by Guyton. Had to go down. This ball thrown a little bit low. Get down underneath it. Cradled that football and came up with a big catch.
Clock down to 4 on 1st and 10. Murray broke a tackle and picked up a yard. Margus Hunt again there to make the initial contact. Now Margus Hunt, you want to talk about a story? A sophomore from Estonia. Last year was the first time he ever played football in his life. The only previous football playing experience had was playing Madden on the TV. But he was a discus and shot put specialist. He won gold at the Junior World Championships representing Estonia in 2006 and came to be a track star at SMU. And the track coach said to the football coaches, you know, you might want to give this guy a look. And they signed him up to play defensive line last year. He had no idea what he was doing. And here he comes, providing pressure, and he overruns Godfrey. And Godfrey able to escape. Well, there's the inexperience from Margus Hunt.
Yeah, Margus Hunt's not going to see anybody this fast throwing the discus. These guys on the track field are out running the 100-yard dash. He's trying to tackle him now. But Godfrey, he has him dead to rights in the middle of the pocket, and Margus Hunt's got to learn how to break down on an athlete the caliber of Jeff Godfrey.
Well, defensive coordinator Tom Mason told us that after the track coach came to the coaches at SMU and said, you might want to give Hunt a look, they took him out and ran him in the shuttle run, and he ran like 4.6, and that was all they needed to see. They figured they could coach the athleticism. Obviously, there's still, at times, some coaching to do. Holding the middle, Marquise Frazier, as he helps bring down Latavius Murray, and Hunt was there as well.
Hunt with the tackle.
Yeah, and the one thing they were worried about with Margus Hunt was he going to like the physical nature of playing in the defensive line? That was the big question for a guy that's never played football before, to get in there with a bunch of big offensive linemen and have to mix it up a little bit. That takes a lot of want to, and Margus Hunt has risen to the challenge, both on the field and off the field.
Well, he's 6'8", 272. I would figure that's a pretty good place to start. I'm not sure if the offensive linemen are too happy to see him across from them rather than the other way around. Play clock down to 1. Again, Godfrey gets it off, sets up a little throwback to the far side. A gain of 4 for Ricky Kay. It'll be 3rd down and 4.
Well, we haven't seen anything really explosive from UCF on offense. It's been short gains, 1st and 2nd down efficiency, which they've had a lot of big plays this year. They've had 55 plays of 20-plus yards or more this season. But really, the approach today has been methodical, 5- and 6-yard gains, and it's working for them.
3rd and 4 for the Knights. Already past the midway point of the 3rd quarter. Might be a free play. 3 players jumped off sides for SMU. And a big one hit down the sideline. Kamar Aiken got free.
There is a flag on the play.
Gain of 18 yards. And it is offsides against SMU.
Double play, 1st down.
So a 1st down in plus territory for UCF.
Well, this is just a confident play by a young quarterback. You use your hard count on 3rd and 4, the exact right time to use it. Then once you get them offside, you know you got a free play, so keep playing. Maybe you'll get something big, a bigger play, and that's exactly what they do. Godfrey makes an accurate throw on the outside to Aiken, and they refuse the penalty and get a big gain on 3rd down. They're 7 of 10 on 3rd downs now.
To Latavius Murray. Right up the middle goes Murray. Touchdown. UCF.
And that's just physical downhill running on the power play. 8 plays, 85 yards, 36 yards on this touchdown run by Latavius Murray, and UCF rolling.
House Network Stadium, rocking now. ESPN College Football presented by 5 Hour Energy. Central Florida with a 17-0 lead over SMU in the Conference USA Championship game. Bob Wischusen and Brian Griese on a cloud in the sky here in Orlando. But it's been a foggy offensive day for SMU so far. They need some points on the board. About to get the football back after surrendering the touchdown. Johnson from the 10. Breaks a tackle. Good return all the way out to the 34-yard line as we take a look at today's Dave and Buster's playbook. Back to the touchdown.
Yeah, it's just hard running by UCF on offense, and SMU tries to get the 8th defender in the box to stop the run. That's Chris Banjo, the junior safety. But when you come in and try to get the 8th man, you better make sure you make a tackle. And he takes the wrong angle, and Latavius Murray makes him pay.
They begin on their own 34.
Let's see if SMU can get something going offensively. They've had a couple of drives that have consumed clock but have stalled. A missed field goal in the first half. Here comes the all-out blitz. Padrone able to get a matchup to Aldrick Robinson. First down. Padrone took another shot, lost his helmet. It's a gain of 12 yards, though. Bob Wischusen and Brian Griese here in Orlando. It's the Conference USA Championship game. UCF, the top overall team, at 9-3, 7-1 in Conference USA. SMU at 7-5 on the year, 6-2 though in the conference. They've had some tough out-of-conference losses, SMU, this year. They lost at Texas Tech by 8, lost to TCU by 17, lost at Navy by only 7. They played some good teams outside of their conference schedule, and June Jones has them potentially to win a championship, but they have dug themselves a deep hole. 1st and 10. Zach Line hit hard, picks up 4 to midfield. Ishmael came up and made the stop.
Kamal Ishmael is the 2nd leading tackler on this UCF defense, and as a safety, what that tells you is he is very aggressive in the run game, and he came up and laid a vicious hit on Zach Line. Line did a nice job just holding on to this football.
To the edge. Another first down for SMU to the 42-yard line. In spite of being down 17-0, Brian, it doesn't seem as if SMU is abandoning their game plan. They're still going with a heavy dose of Zach Line.
They certainly are, and June Jones is going with what got him here. And that's Zach Line, over 1,200 yards this season. And they don't want to put Kyle Padrone in any situation where he has to do it all himself, because you've seen he's gotten hit. The UCF defensive front 4 is getting pressure on the quarterback. They have got to run the football to keep pressure off of Padrone.
Starting D tackle for UCF, Wes Tanuki-Salvow, hurt on that last play, just came off. Padrone, play breaks down, he takes off. Scrambles forward for about 4 yards.
You see the impact of the rush on Kyle Padrone here. He tucks his football down a little premature. At the top of your screen, you're going to see an in route by Robinson, who's going to come open, and Padrone does not wait on him. He had time to throw the football to him, but he's pulling that ball down, and that's the effect that a pass rush has on a quarterback. All of a sudden, he thinks he doesn't have as much time as he really does and pulls that ball down.
Here comes the blitz. Padrone back to midfield. Has to throw it away. Chance Henderson came untouched. 3rd down at 6.
Put on the pressure for the Knights, number 50.
Yeah, and Chance Henderson just comes right off the edge, and he's unblocked. They were in a scat protection, which is 5 guys out in the route, only 5 offensive linemen to pick up the blitz. He was unaccounted for. Padron did a nice job of seeing it and not taking the blindside hit and getting rid of the football.
Padron throws what should have been an interception right into the arms of Derek Holman, and he dropped it.
That brings up a 4th down situation.
He's the leading tackler on the team. They couldn't hold on to the pick.
Well, Kyle Padron is shaking right now. He's not quite sure where to go with the football. He's really late on this throw. You throw the ball late in the middle, and linebackers and safeties read your eyes. Holman had a gift presented to him, which he dropped. But now if you're June Jones, I think you're going for it here on 4th and 7. But they're going to get back in this football game. Kyle Padron has got to settle down and make some plays.
George O'Leary calls a timeout. So UCF, I think, was thinking that SMU might punt and try to pin them deep. They call a timeout on defense with 3.5 minutes to go in the 3rd.
HotelPlanner.com.
Big 12 championship. Brent Musburger and Kirk Herbstreit will have that one. Dr. Pepper Championship Weekend on ABC, ESPN, and ESPN2 tonight. Big moment in the Conference USA Championship game. 4th down and a long 6, close to 7. SMU goes for it. Blitz comes. Padron whips it to the sideline, and he's got a man. Keenan Holman makes the catch for the 1st down.
Keenan Holman.
Now that's a confident throw from a quarterback that has struggled today. On rhythm, no hitch, lays the ball on the sideline to true freshman Keenan Holman.
27.
And a big conversion for SMU on a 12-yard gain.
Watching game tape, if you're UCF, that was not the target you expected. Keenan Holman only made 5 catches the entire season coming into today. First catch of the day. It's a 4th down conversion as SMU try to finally get on the board. Blitz again. Padron comes to the near side. Ty goes to the runner. No, it's taken away by Josh Robinson. Aldrick Robinson had his hands on the football as well, but Robinson with the pick.
The inconsistencies for Kyle Padron all day. The same route to the opposite side. June Jones says it worked one time. Let's do it again. This time the ball is thrown behind the receiver inside. That ball has to be on the sideline. And Josh Robinson is there as the beneficiary. And Padron has been inaccurate all day. Not the way he's been this season. He's been, for the most part, accurate during the course of the season. But today he has struggled.
11th interception of the year thrown by Padron. Bubble screen. Jamar Newsome. Now to about the 24-yard line, and SMU another long drive. Again, they come away empty with no points. Between the 20s, they've moved the football. They have close to 200 yards of total offense, but no points to show for it. And they haven't played this season outside of 1 game turnover free. They have 1 game where they didn't give the ball away. They've had 2 or more giveaways this season in 6 of their 12 games. Murray on 2nd and 4. Fights for yardage. Fights for the 1st down. And he's got it. Let's go back to Wendy.
Bob, thank you. We go back to the 2nd round of the FCS Championship. A lot of snow in Boone, North Carolina, Western Illinois, and Appalachian State. DeAndre Presley, 89 yards. The snow doesn't seem to stop him. 35-7. It hasn't stopped Appalachian either. 11 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. Jacquizz Rodgers and Oregon State trying to dethrone Oregon. This huge matchup that could decide Oregon's berth to the national championship coming up 3:30 on ABC.
Wendy here in Orlando. UCF goes to the ground again. Latavius Murray, good yardage on first down, a gain of about 7 as we go inside of the last minute and a half of the third quarter of the Conference USA Championship game. And Central Florida on top of SMU 17-0. And UCF has played a bend but don't break defense. Brian Greasy, would have had to get stops down inside their own 30-yard line. They've gotten them.
They have, and they came in. They knew that they could play with SMU on offense because their defense has been stout all year, only giving up 18 points a game, and that's best in the conference. They have played up to their billing today.
On a keeper, Godfrey has the first down. Sunday night ESPN gets you prepared for the bowl season. First at 8:15 Eastern. Catch the final BCS countdown and witness the official unveiling of each BCS bowl matchup. Then at 9 Eastern, find out where your team's going to be playing this postseason. The bowl selection special will bring you a breakdown of each matchup from our experts. The BCS countdown presented by Tostitos and the bowl selection special on ESPN tomorrow night. For about 3 yards, and that should take us to the end of the third quarter.
Yeah, UCF is content to just continue to run clock. This is going to be a difficult situation for SMU. Start of the fourth quarter, down 17-0. They have got to try to create some turnover on offense, get some momentum.
End of the third quarter of the Conference USA Championship game, and UCF up by 3 scores. A perfect day for football here in Orlando, and a perfect day so far for UCF. They're on top of SMU as a part of Dr. Pepper Championship Weekend in the Conference USA Championship game. As we start the fourth quarter, and SMU desperately in need of a stop. Maybe even more importantly, a takeaway on defense, down by 3 scores. Ball control with Murray, tripped up behind the line as the Mustangs were selling out to stop the run. Taylor Reed made the tackle, but the clock owned by UCF. And how about the play differential as well, Brian?
Yeah, you look at the number of plays, 17 more plays for Central Florida in 6 minutes of time of possession. That's like 2 whole drives in the favor of UCF. That's been the difference in this ball game. They need to get off the field on 3rd and 8 here. The SMU does.
17-0. Defensively, you almost have to be 100% on 3rd and 7+. 3rd and 8. Under some pressure. Godfrey buying time. And he's brought down from behind. Taylor Reed caught up to him. That will officially go as a sack as he lost a yard. And SMU does get off the field defensively, and they'll get their offense the football back. Still with a lot of time left.
Yeah, they don't have any time to waste, though. I mean, they're down 17-0 at 14 minutes left in this game. And Kyle Padron has got to find the confidence. He's got to lead this team back.
Nice punt by Klingon. Forces a fair catch at the 11-yard line. Terrific job of changing field position by Blake Klingon. 47-yard punt. Some key plays today. The touchdown scored in the first half. Latavius Murray, a little swing pass from Jeff Godfrey. And then the run right up the middle by Murray. Defensively as well. Great coverage here, Brian, by Jeff Robinson.
Yeah, Robinson has been very good all game long. Here he picks off Kyle Padron to stop another drive. It's been a great combination of defense, offense, and Jeff Godfrey, give him credit. He's been very efficient, 15 of 19 for 167 yards and a touchdown.
Play action for Padron. Swings it out left. Johnson down the sideline. Darius Johnson has a first down. SMU has moved the ball. They've gotten some first downs. Just no points to show for it.
They certainly have. I mean, drives of 10, 11, and 8 yards. But you see 3 punts, a missed field goal, and an interception. They have not been able to finish those drives. And credit UCF on defense. They are number 1 in the conference for a reason. They are not going to give up any big plays. They want to keep the ball in front of them, come up and make the tackle.
Zach Line picks up about 3 yards. And Brian, 13 minutes to go, down 3 scores. We talked about how SMU in the third quarter wasn't abandoning their game plan. Zach Line still involved. Can you still involve him that much at this point, or does time and score make it, pass heavy?
Well, you certainly need to get the ball down the field in a hurry. And I've been very surprised that this offense has not gotten the football to Aldrick Robinson and Cole Beasley, their top 2 wide receivers coming into this game, more. They need to get the ball to those guys. Those are their playmakers. There's Robinson at the top of your screen.
Instead, it's underneath to Beasley, and Beasley scoots forward to about the 42-yard line or so with a first down.
Yeah, and Beasley's a guy that has to get the football more. He's kind of your Wes Welker type possession receiver on the inside. He's got great quickness, very difficult to cover in the slot. He's got 79 catches on the season. That's only his 2nd catch today. You've got to get him involved.
Interesting you mentioned Wes Welker's name. Cole Beasley actually asked the SMU video guys for film of Wes Welker and watched a lot of Wes Welker tape in the offseason to see what he could pick up.
There's room for guys like Beasley in the NFL if he could be consistent.
Blitz on first down. Padron buys time, looks for the home run to Robinson. Knocked away. Terrific coverage again by Josh Robinson. That's best on best, and Josh Robinson wins the battle again.
Yeah, Aldrick Robinson, a very speedy receiver. Looked like he had to slow up for that football. A little bit underthrown, but Josh Robinson, stride for stride. And the great thing he does is does not interfere with Aldrick Robinson. Gets his hand on the shoulder, but doesn't alter the course of Aldrick Robinson. A big play on defense for UCF.
Aldrick Robinson's the first receiver ever at SMU with a pair of 1,000-yard seasons. This year, closing in on 1,200 yards, led the team with 12 touchdowns as well, but a non-factor today as Line spins up the middle and gets popped right at midfield by Chance Henderson, about 3 yards shy of a first down.
Chance Henderson.
Yeah, and Robinson came into the game today, Bob, averaging over 20 yards a catch. And that's insane. He's first in the conference and 10th in the country in receiving yards per game, and he really has been shut down by Josh Robinson.
In Conference USA games this year, Aldrick Robinson averaged 115 yards receiving per game. Top of your screen again, he's the widest man on 3rd and 3. Padron looks his way over the middle. Beasley makes the catch for the first down. That might have been intended for Aldrick Robinson, and instead Beasley made a leaping grab and moves the chains, a gain of 15.
I don't think there's any doubt he was throwing that ball to Aldrick Robinson, and Beasley and Robinson ended up in the same position. Beasley coming from the right side of your screen, Robinson from the left. And Beasley says, well, I'll take that. Show you my vertical. I'll go over and get that ball and get a big conversion. But I don't think that Kyle Padron ever saw Beasley. He was throwing that ball to Aldrick Robinson.
And if Aldrick Robinson catches that ball and Beasley lets it go, he might have had a big gainer. He had open field. He was behind that second level.
Corner blitz.
Padron, one-handed grab made by Beasley. What a terrific catch by Cole Beasley. Gain of 7.
Well, I wondered if he studied how Wes Welker makes that one-handed catch. This is a heck of a stab. Thrown behind him again. Padron being inaccurate. But you stick that left hand back up in the air, and Cole Beasley, known for his hands and reliability in the slot, all season he's made those kind of plays for SMU.
Little Statue of Liberty play, and Zach Line runs left for a first down. The pump fake by Kyle Padron freed up Line.
Well, you're seeing on back-to-back plays, UCF and Dave Huxtable, the defensive coordinator, using the corner blitz off the edge, thinking that they can disrupt this offense and Kyle Padron, but on back-to-back plays, Padron has made him pay.
Can SMU finally get on the board? Just outside the red zone, another first down. Padron, some happy feet. Now throws a wobbly ball to the sideline, incomplete, intended for Darius Johnson. Justin Body there on the coverage for UCF.
Well, you're right about Happy Feet. He just does not seem to be comfortable in that pocket. He had Beasley again open in the flat and pulled the ball back. He's just a little bit gun shy right now, but he's got to be able to settle down.
This is the deepest into UCF's end of the field that SMU has been all day.
Coming the blitz.
Right up the middle. Padron has man-to-man coverage. Back shoulder throw to Aldrick Robinson. And finally, SMU breaks through with a touchdown.
It's a matter of time. UCF comes with a man-to-man blitz, leaving Robinson one-on-one. This time it's Body, 23, guarding him instead of Josh Robinson. And a perfect throw on the back shoulder. This is the back shoulder fade. You just want to throw that ball to the outside and let the receiver adjust. Well done.
Some life for SMU. They're on the board, down by 10. A 10-play, 88-yard touchdown drive. They began at their own 12. And with 9:15 to go in the Conference USA Championship game, it's a ball game again. Of events to fund cancer research. To donate, text Jimmy V to 85944. We've been talking about how obviously cancer has touched everybody's family, and we feel like a family with our group here at ESPN. And it has touched our family as well. 17-7 UCF on top of SMU. Jimmy V Week for Cancer Research continuing here on ESPN. Hopefully you'll help us raise some money. Squib kick in traffic, and it is scooped up by Kenneth Williams, and he's out to about the 42-yard line. One of our own, Andy Bartley, our audio engineer, as a flag is thrown on that play, is recovering from testicular cancer, and he's receiving treatment as we speak. We're a tight group. They're all pulling for AB.
Best mixer in the business right there. Although I don't know about the hat. You know, the Ohio State hat.
I understand. He did try to turn it around so you wouldn't notice. But
Personal foul.
A personal foul call.
Return team. 15-yard penalty. First down.
On the return. So, Brian Greasy, you talked earlier about the fact that you lost your mom at a very young age to cancer. I've had an aunt on my father's side fight through breast cancer. An aunt on my mom's side passed away from cancer. It's touched everyone, and we're obviously this year getting to know everybody we've had a chance to work with on this crew, a very tight-knit group. And I feel like a family with this group. And so, AB, obviously, we're all in your corner, and hopefully the Jimmy V Foundation will help the effort.
Well, you can't invest your money anywhere better than fighting this terrible disease, because you're right. It does affect everybody. It doesn't discriminate. It can happen to any of us.
Hand off, bouncing it outside. Ronnie Weaver breaks a tackle with a stiff arm. He's got a first down. Injured player as well, Benny Thomas, down for SMU. Benny Thomas was the replacement for Sterling Moore at corner. Moore left earlier with a knee injury, and now Thomas's backup is shaken up.
Ronnie Weaver not getting many carries today, but when he gets the football, he is determined and hard to bring down. And it's great to see kids like Ronnie Weaver persevere and get the kind of recognition that hard work deserves.
So SMU about to go 3 deep on the depth chart at corner as Moore hurt. Now his backup Benny Thomas hurt. And we'll step aside. The Conference USA Championship game with about 6 minutes gone by in the fourth.
Is presented by 5-Hour Energy. Hours of energy now, no 2:30 feeling later. For more information, visit 5hourenergy.com.
Perfect day here in Orlando. 17-7. UCF on SMU. in the Conference USA Championship game. And a moment ago, Benny Thomas had to be helped off the field, 31 and white.
Yeah, he just came up and tried to stop and run support, and looks like he got helmet to helmet and may have been knocked out there. It was a scary moment for Benny Thomas.
Again, Benny Thomas replaced Sterling Moore earlier, so now Chris Castro, a junior from Allen, Texas, in at corner. And off to Weaver, breaks a tackle with a nice little cutback, and worked hard to pick up 3 yards. Jagarrett Davis finally brought him down, a gain of about 4.
Now with 8.5 minutes left in this ball game, SMU on defense does not have time to waste. They have got to get a stop here. 2nd and 7 coming up, but they don't have any more time. They've got to get the ball back to their offense if they're going to get back in this game.
Mature job as well by Jeff Godfrey, letting the play clock wind down, eating as much time off the clock as possible. 2nd and 6. Snaps it with 2 on the play clock, and right up the middle goes Weaver. About 3 yards shy of a first down. But now every time, Brian, when you're down 2 scores this late in the game, that 3rd down comes up, it feels like a must for that SMU defense.
Yeah, it certainly does. And you know, they're struggling to stop the running game at UCF now. That they're coming off the football, running the power OG play, pulling the guard, getting the fullback to kick out on the defensive end, and this SMU defense is on their heels now.
7 of 11 on 3rd down for UCF. Big one here, 3rd down and 3. They'll try and throw for it. Under pressure, and down goes Godfrey. Justin Smart put pressure off the edge on the blitz. And again, a big play made by the SMU defense to get their offense the ball back.
Justin Smart just came off the edge. There he is right here. He's going to come off the edge on a blitz, and he was unaccounted for. UCF tried to throw the play action to the fullback in the flat. They had good coverage. Godfrey had to pull the ball back down, and Justin Smart made a big play. 3rd sack of the day for SMU.
Another beautiful kick from Blake Klingon. That is an NFL leg that Blake Klingon has, but he doesn't get the bounce. It goes into the end zone, and ABC delivers the #2 team in the nation this afternoon at 3:30 Eastern. Heisman hopeful LaMichael James in Oregon in the Civil War against Oregon State. Win, and the Ducks go to the BCS championship game. College football presented by Kay Jewelers this afternoon at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific.
It's hard to imagine that Oregon's averages over 50 points a game. I mean, they may break the all-time record in a 13-game season by Texas in 2005. They're on pace to break that now if they continue to score 50 a game. They are hard to stop.
The drone under pressure, lost the football, and it looks like the Mustangs got it back. Padron tried to extend the play a little too long, and he got hit from behind.
Well, he wanted to throw the ball to Aldrick Robinson, but Robinson ran the different route than what Kyle Padron was expecting. Then he pulled the football down and didn't have 2 hands on it and came loose. But in this run and shoot offense, wide receivers have to read the defense after the snap of the ball, just like the quarterback. And if the quarterback and receiver are not on the same page, then you get issues like that. And lucky to dodge a bullet and a fumble.
Draw play to line. Racked up after a gain of a yard by Henderson. It'll be 3rd down and 10.
UCF again, and Dave Huxtable bringing the corner blitz, and they are not afraid to bring pressure in these kinds of situations. They feel like they need to get to Padron. They know that he's a little bit banged up with an ankle, not going to beat him with his legs, so it's a sit and duck in the pocket right now, and UCF is coming after him.
And SMU being very deliberate, 3rd down and 10. They're huddling up, 5.5 minutes to go. In what most likely is 2-down territory, even at their own 20-yard line, Brian?
Yep.
4-man rush. Padron over the middle and deep for Johnson. In traffic. It's intercepted. Picked off by Reggie Weems. Weems returns it all the way back down to the SMU 28-yard line. 4th interception of the year for Reggie Weems.
You throw the ball in the middle of the field, you've got to put some mustard on it. You can't just float it down there. Darius Johnson in the slot on the left is open, puts way too much air on that football. It allows Weems to come from his 2-deep safety position and get his 4th interception on the year.
Tack on a 29-yard return as well. And now SMU needs a miracle. They've turned it over multiple times for the 7th time this season. Latavius Murray to about the 25-yard line.
Latavius Murray.
Well, as Kyle Padron has gone, so have the SMU Mustangs. You see, in 7 wins, he's been very efficient, but in the losses, that 7 interceptions has really hurt them. And that last play, really an easy interception for Reggie Weems, who's a tremendous athlete and had plenty of time to get over and get to that football. But looking to make plays to get back in this football game, but got to be smart with the football as well.
Latavius Murray lost a couple of yards, brought down by Chris Banjo, and now a timeout called on defense by June Jones. It's a 10-point game, 4:15 to go, and if SMU sells out to stop the run and they can dodge a field goal bullet, they might still be in the game. Championship. Brent Musburger and Kirk Herbstreit will be on hand for that one. Dr. Pepper Championship Weekend on ABC, ESPN, ESPN2 tonight. And a big spot here for the SMU defense. Jumping off sides is Marcus Hunt.
Back in the play. No play.
Offside. 92 on the defense. Elevated to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
That's a big penalty.
Yeah, he's right here. You can't miss him. 6'8". And again, using the hard count. I've been impressed with the poise and the confidence and the savvy of Jeff Godfrey. Got nothing to lose in that situation on 3rd and 10. Use your hard count. Maybe you get a free 5 and get into a more manageable 3rd and 6 situation.
Remember, Marcus Hunt had never played football before last year. A track star from Estonia who commits the penalty. Here comes the blitz on 3rd down. Under pressure and going down is Godfrey. The blitz came, and on a stunt up the middle, it was Marquise Frazier that got the sack.
Yeah, Marquise Frazier is the nose guard in this 3-4 system. Right in the middle of your screen, he's on a stunt, and he just runs right by the left guard, and Godfrey didn't see him until the last second. That's a big play from SMU on defense because it potentially knocks them out of field goal range.
A timeout finally called by SMU. June Jones just called a 2nd timeout. SMU let about 30 seconds or so come off the play clock and come off the game clock before they spent the timeout. But once you've let that much time come off the clock, you don't call timeout. You save your timeout to use on offense. He called timeout with about 12 seconds on the play clock.
Yeah, you're right. If you're going to call that timeout, you got to call it right after the sack.
Or don't call it at all.
Or don't call it, and you're only going to gain about 15 seconds.
The official signal that SMU called the timeout on defense, which would be their 2nd. They'd only have 1 timeout left, 3:46 to go in the 4th quarter, and they let a good 25 seconds come off the clock unnecessarily. And that's what they're playing for, the championship trophy in Conference USA. UCF has one of those in their trophy case, looking for their 2nd. How about this decision by George O'Leary to try and stretch the lead to 2 touchdowns? A 52-yard field goal attempt for Katoy. No good. That's a huge field position decision made by George O'Leary going for the field goal. If you punt, you might pin them inside the 10-yard line.
Yeah,
Brian Greasy, what's your thought on that decision?
Your field goal kicker's only made 9 out of 18 attempts on the year, so certainly he has had his struggles. And you're right, you put SMU in beautiful field position at the 35 as opposed to potentially being inside the 10 with only 3.5 minutes left in the ballgame. And the way your defense is playing, I would have punted that football down there and given them the whole field to go.
Even if they score with 3:41 to go, if you make them go 90 yards, it might eat up so much time. They might not have enough time to even go for the second score. Here's Padron out of the shotgun. Fires one left through the hands of Aldrick Robinson, and a drop. Someone's going to have to explain both of those coaching decisions to me. The decision by June Jones to call the timeout when he did, and then the decision by UCF to go for the field goal.
You know, until you're put in these situations late in games and championship games for that matter, you never know how a coach is going to react. You never know what they're thinking, what their thought process is, and sometimes they have some questionable decisions, but these two guys have been doing this for a long time. I have a suspicion that there's some reasoning behind those two options.
Padron, all kinds of time, finally holds onto the ball too long and does what you can't do there, and that's take the sack. Bruce Miller gets his second of the game.
Well, Padron missed Aldrick Robinson. He ran a double move on the outside to stutter go. He had 3 yards on Josh Robinson, and Kyle Padron didn't see him. That is the play they were looking for. They got man-to-man coverage, and Robinson ran a great route, just didn't get it to him.
3rd and 11. Padron under pressure again. Here comes the sack from behind. He lost the football again. And it looks like for the second time here in the 4th quarter, Zach Line was there to make a fumble recovery after Padron coughed it up.
Mustangs recovered.
You got to know that the pressure is coming. You hitch 3, 4, 5 times in the pocket. You can't just sit there. They're coming for you.
He fumbled it forward for a gain of a few yards. Bruce Miller was the one to hit him again. Now it's 4th down and 5. Padron up the seam. What a terrific catch made by Darius Johnson in traffic to get the first down. Gain of 13.
Darius Johnson has been their best option today in the passing game. 9 catches. He's over 100 yards now. He's the 3rd leading receiver on this team behind Robinson and Beasley, but today he has been dynamite.
Four-man rush. Padron over the middle. Finds Beasley. Gain of 7. 2 minutes to go, and SMU has to hurry up. They only have 1 timeout left, needing 2 scores.
7-yard pass.
And Beasley came up a little bit gimpy after that last tackle.
Padron under pressure. Goes down. Took another sack. Darius Nall, the sack leader for UCF, got him.
And now you got to get back to the line of scrimmage and get a play called. We're going to call timeout.
That's their last.
Sacks are killers in the 2-minute drill.
Conference USA Championship game winding down. Let's go back to Wendy Nix.
Bob, thank you very much. The Big East Conference trying to wind its way to a champion. West Virginia still with a chance, though they need UConn to lose. Tavon Austin takes off and goes 46 yards. West Virginia leading Rutgers 28-7, under 8 minutes to play in this game. Brad Stevens and his Butler team looking to avenge that unbelievable loss to Duke in the national championship game. This game tipping off at 3:15 Eastern. Coming up.
Well, Wendy, the Conference USA Championship game down to the last minute 35. No timeouts left for SMU. They're down by 10. Kyle Padron just took another sack. And now it's 3rd down and 12. A long 11, close to 12. Jones, especially considering they're out of timeouts, and it stops the clock just for the moment.
Yeah, great effort by line to get the first down. I think June Jones thinking that's 4-down territory anyway, but getting the first down stops the clock and saves some time for SMU.
They need 2 scores. Padrone again trying to extend the play, and this time he'll run out of bounds.
You don't see him throwing the ball away much. That's one thing you got to learn as a quarterback, and he's young. This is his first year as a full-time starter in this system, and June Jones said he's had to learn quite a bit, but in this fourth quarter now, he's thrown an interception, he's fumbled twice, and he's taken 3 sacks in a hurry-up situation, and it's, as the ringleader of your offense, you can't do those things. You got to be able to make the right decision in pressure situations.
Timeout called by UCF on defense. But with 1:09 to go, if he takes one more sack, the game's over.
Yeah.
You need 2 scores. You're just going to run out of time. So now he's got to throw the ball away.
Well, you're in a situation now, you're 2nd and 6, 2nd and 7. You know, down and distance really makes no difference at this point. You're trying to score points, and even if you don't make it here on 2nd and 3rd down, you could kick a field goal potentially, and then onside kick and go for the Hail Mary at the end of the game. But depending on what happens on these next 2 plays, June Jones will have a decision to make.
The clock management becomes very interesting here, knowing you need the field goal and the touchdown. And it seems like sometimes teams go all in, trying to get the touchdown first when you need the field goal anyway. And you use up so much time that trying to get the touchdown, you don't give yourself enough time even for an onside kick.
And if you're UCF, you play the boundary. You want to keep this ball in bounds. Clock is the biggest enemy of SMU.
4-man rush. Padrone hit as he releases the ball. It comes forward. That should be an incomplete pass. And it is, and Padrone got walloped, and he is shaken up.
Well, Padrone had a receiver streaking up the middle of the field. He took a big hit, but you'll see the receiver Johnson right up the middle. That's where he was trying to go with that football. He had a chance for a touchdown there, but credit Troy Davis in the front 4 of UCF. That pressure has not allowed Padrone to get the ball down the field today.
Well, now he's got to hurry. He was walloped so hard, he walked very slowly over to June Jones to get the play call. Now they finally break the huddle with 10 on the play clock. 3rd and 7. They get the snap off. Padrone looks for the home run towards the end zone. Should have been intercepted, intended for Beasley. And Kamal Ishmael cut in front and should have picked it off. Now it's 4th down.
Ishmael had another chance, and June Jones trying to attack this defense right down the middle. Johnson this time runs the in route, and Beasley over the top. Very good coverage downfield by the UCF defense, and this is a case where 4th down, just get the first down.
How about the field goal?
Well,
you got a kicker that made a 61-yard field goal this year. From here, it would probably be about 51. And they're not going to try the 51-yard field goal when they do need 3.
I think they go for on 4th down. This is too long to try to attempt a field goal. Throw the ball, get a first down spike, and then you can try the field goal.
Padrone to the sideline. He's got the first down. Perfectly run play as Aldrick Robinson not only picks up the first down, but gets out of bounds.
Yeah, and that's, if you're UCF on defense, you've got to play the sidelines. You want to keep these guys in bounds. You can't play soft coverage on the outside. That's a mistake by UCF on defense.
Now, Brian, here's also the thing where clock management comes into play. You need 2 scores. 54 seconds to go. You have to be thinking that you can't take more than 20, 25 seconds that remains on the clock now to get this touchdown.
Yeah, you either got to throw it in the end zone or kick it.
Padrone throws it in the end zone for Robinson. Broken up. That time Justin Body was in perfect position.
And Robinson was open. The ball again a little bit late from Padrone, and gives Body a chance to get back in and get a hand on the football. But if that ball was thrown on time, that was a touchdown to Aldrick Robinson.
48 seconds to go. 13th play of the drive.
The other thing that factors in here, Bob, is the wide receivers get tired at the end of a 2-minute drill. They've been running go routes 4, 5, 6 times in a row, they're a little bit winded on the outside.
The drone escapes. He can't take a sack, and he does. That's going to end the game. They have no timeouts left. You have to throw the ball away there if you're the quarterback. They need 2 scores. They don't have enough time for this.
He's got to get up. He's got to spike this right here and then kick a field goal.
Now he spikes it. Now they'll try the field goal, but the field goal and the onside kick, even if you recover it, is probably going to eat up most of the 23 seconds remaining.
That'll bring up 4th down.
He's not going to kick the field goal. He's going to go for this on 4th down. You kick the field goal here, you get 4 seconds that come off the clock. You still have time for an onside kick and then try to get that ball into the end zone on a Hail Mary.
Well, the whole team is over on the sideline, kind of with their helmets off. A few of them gathered around June Jones. The play clock is winding down. They didn't call timeout. The play clock's got 15 seconds.
Yeah, they don't have any timeouts. They got to get going.
And they're going to go for it on 4th down when they need a touchdown into field goal. The drone somehow escapes the sack and stumbles and falls, and that will officially do it. Why would you not kick the field goal there when you need 2 scores?
That was the 5th sack for UCF on defense, and give credit to the front 4. All day they have pressured Kyle Padron, have not let him to get comfortable. And his erratic play was the difference in the ball game today. But Bruce Miller, Darius Null, Troy Davis, credit those guys with the effort today up front for UCF.
Terrific job by the UCF defense to hold SMU to only a touchdown. A team averaging over 28 points a game. Godfrey takes a knee, and that'll do it. UCF, for the 2nd time, are the Conference USA champions.
UCF was the class of the conference all year, and they finished it off in style with George O'Leary and a group of seniors that now will go to the Liberty Bowl.
So UCF for the Conference USA champions. College football scoreboard presented by Acura. Coming up next on ESPN2. Over on ESPN, it's college basketball. A rematch of the national championship game as Duke takes on Butler. Post-game coverage of this game, including the trophy presentation on ESPN3.com. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, for Brian Greasy and our whole crew. I'm Bob Wischusen. So long from Orlando. Back to Windy Nets.